Thanks for taking the time out to look at our software program called Chem-Man. Chem-Man is a great software program for chemical application companies. There's so much documentation with chemical application companies, and Chem-Man makes it so much easier. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is that we can sync your job scheduling, mapping, GPS integration, and loader sheets along with your invoice. And so that when you create your scheduling, you can also create your invoice at the same time. We also have several interfaces, including the company called Agrian, where you can actually download your jobs instead of having to create them manually. We interface with a Google Earth mapping system. All of your maps are included in the price, as well as we interface with CalAg. So you can submit an NOI as well as a PUR to your CalAg department. Let me show you how the workflow goes. So we're going to go into scheduling. And you can either download your jobs from Agrian or click on Manage Scheduling and add it yourself. Let me show you how you can add it yourself. So these are some existing jobs in the system. You can click on Add to add a brand new one and click Select Locations. These locations have been previously built with maps and fields earlier with a Google Map interface. So I'm going to choose Angelo Farms and see what fields I have out there. All right, so I'm going to click on this particular one here and select locations. It brings up the last crop that I did. If that changed, you can change that. You can schedule things. There's several things that you can do. You can put a consultant in, and you can also have consultants log in and put the jobs in for you. You can assign it to an applicator if you prefer. All right, and then I'm going to use my last recipe that I entered. We have an EPA database. You can also enter it manually, modify any kind of rates on the chemical recipe. Then you go down here and click on Save. It's really very easy. When you do that, you can click on the Applicator button, and this is a printout that you can print for your loaders. The first page is for your loaders. This one has only one load. It tells you how much goes into each load and how much chemical goes into the load. And then it will also bring up your map. And down there at the bottom, it has a place that your chemical applicator can document his weather information. You can also download a GPS file. If you have a SatLock system, you can click the job file, or an older Bantam. The G4 would be the job file, and the Bantam would be the older than G4. Or if you have another GPS system, you can click on the shapefile button, which will put in your download folder, and you can put it on the thumb drive. All right, so we have our map as well as we have our load sheet. When you are done, the applicator or someone in the office can go in and enter the applied information. So some of the applicators are actually logging in. It's mobile device friendly, so they can log in from an iPad, cell phone, whatever it would be, and click on the application date. If you'd like for them to put their TAC information, you can do that. If you are an aerial business, you put your flights and starts if you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and put my time. And then we have a weather app that looks at the closest weather station and populates your weather information. You can override it if you want. And then you can turn that into an invoice. It will also do notifications if you want to do pre-notifications or post-notifications. You can let your grower unlimited emails or texts. You can send them this information, and many of the growers really like this. All right, send and close, and it will send them immediately their email or text of what was applied. So then what that does, it turns it into an invoice. So we can go over here and we can actually print an invoice, or you can print them all at one time, or you can actually print them all at the end of the month if you prefer. So it will actually print your use report on the invoice if you'd like, or you can modify that if you'd prefer not to do that, if you can print it separately. If it's a number 10 window envelope, it documents your information for you and for the grower. It's really nice. You can also print your PUR if you'd like to do that. Send that to the county. But now we have a new interface where you can actually go here and submit it to the CalAg. Click on that and then submit PUR to CalAg. Now, if you're using Agrian and they have already submitted to CalAg, you would not need to do this feature. You also have the ability to submit your NOI to CalAg. There we go. So let me show you the download from Agrian feature. So if you don't want to manually enter your job, you can click on download from Agrian and it will create your job for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create job schedule. And if you don't have the chemical in the system, you can just say create new. And once you've created that, it automatically syncs with our chemical database. So right here, it looks like these have already synced. And all of these maps have already synced. But if they haven't synced, you can say create new and it will automatically create your grower, your chemical, or your location. So I'm going to click on create job schedule. And I'm going to open it. And it will also bring in your rec that you could view the recommendation that was put into the Agrian system. So you can view it. If you'd like to print it, you could. But if you'll notice, we have two locations, 1-1 and 2-2. All right. So those came into the system. It shows the permit numbers, brought in the crop. All right. So I'm going to assign it to an applicator. When you assign it to an applicator, it will bring in your capacity of your vehicle, so it helps you calculate your loads. You can just put a vehicle or just a capacity if you want. If you'll notice, it automatically brought in my Roundup and my pest and my rates, everything. So it's really nice. It brings in your customer as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save there, and then I can print this out under an applicator report. The addition of Agrian is a little bit more than 1,000, less than 1,500. You'll have to call them on pricing. There's some conditions on the pricing. But it is nice to have it automatically in the system and you just download. There we go. We have our load sheet as well as our map and our GPS files. So when the job is done, you can click this and you can say applied information. Got our applicator here. We've got our date. You can put your TAC information. And if you don't want the TAC information, we can suppress that, especially if you're like a ground rig or something. So I'm going to put the time. And we can either enter our weather, get the weather from the app. Apparently I don't have my Latin long on that field. Transfer to invoice. And it will send a notification. So it's the same workflow. Go to my invoicing, and that way I can print my invoice here. Got both of my fields on the system, so there's two PURs here. Then you also have the ability to submit your PR to CalAg, NOI, or print them if you'd like. So your history of your jobs are always in the system, very easy to use. We have some really nice reports, such as a logbook by a customer here. So if you wanted to put a date range in, like that, click on View Report. You can see every one of the farmers with every field, everything about that invoice, such as chemical charges, the rates, the field ID, the crops. You know, it's very nice. Vehicle information. I just had a man tell me a while ago that he was in a lawsuit, and he saw where one customer had Chem-Man and the other didn't, and the customer that had Chem-Man was really able to get all the audit reports that he needed. It's very good for audits, but it's also good for customer service if they want to see maybe everything that was done on a particular field. It's all about the filtering on this system, so you can see all the kinds of information for any audit or for a customer report or for your consultant. You know, there's tons of information in the system. There's a lot of comparison reports. So through the year, you can go out after you've had it several years and compare your year to year. One of the really neat reports is the flights and starts report. So for your vehicle maintenance, you can go in and put a date range, put totals only, and submit this for your maintenance of your vehicles with your total flight starts and TAC information. There's another really nice report right here. It's called the gross sale report. So you can put your date range in. I'll just put, and depending on your sort, I'm going to sort it by vehicle. It will tell you what each vehicle is grossing in acres and TAC information, and how much it's grossing per TAC hour or per acre. If I sorted that by customer, you can see the same information. A lot of really good information on the system. One other thing I'd like to show you is a commission report. So you can go in here and say, I'm going to do a month to date here, and you can see each pilot's commission rate. It gives you the commission with totals for here for each pilot. Very nice. And if they shared the job, it will actually calculate the commission per the share. So thanks for watching our demo, and we have lots of other things to show you, but that's pretty much a good summary of how the program flows, and I think we could really help you with your workflow. Thank you again. If you have any questions, call 870-238-9222.